In a bit of good news, Cambridge University actually defends free speech. And this has been an ongoing discussion in the college campus space for a very long time. But this past Wednesday, the University of Cambridge shot down a proposal that would require students, staff, and visitors to be respectful of all views. In a landslide 86.9 victory, the university's Regent House voted against the proposal, instead agreeing to protect the right to express controversial or unpopular opinions within the law, without fear of intolerance or discrimination on campus. Now, there's a few takeaways from this statement here because I think that this perfectly highlights the kind of day and age we live in, and understanding how the left uses language to trick the common society into thinking that what they believe is good. So they said that, so the university basically shot down a proposal that would require students, staff, and visitors to be respectful of all views. Now, on the face of that, I think most people would say, why shouldn't you be respectful? Isn't that what we want? Everyone should be respectful of their views, of each other's views, right? Here's the thing. What respectful means to a person with common sense is very different than what respectful means to someone that is a far left-wing Democrat. Because to me, what most people would normally think of respectful is you just aren't shouting and yelling at them, right? That you're just you're listening, but you can disagree. But that's not what the far left-wing outlet agrees with. To them, being respectful means you cannot disagree with me. You can't voice your opposition because that opposition, no matter how politely you put it, offends me. You know, you disagreeing with me is a form of disrespect. And you can say it as nicely as you want, but it is disrespectful to me. It is offensive. We've heard that 1,000 times, right? That's what the left classifies it as. Now, why is that? And how can we tell that that's the case? We know it's the case because the vote was also a triumph against no platforming. Now, what is no platforming? What that basically means is that certain speakers that want to speak on campus, and this isn't just like some famous person just comes in and just decides that they're going to hold a lecture one day. These speakers are oftentimes paid and sponsored by the students or clubs to actually come on campus to speak with those students that either contributed or are a part of the club, and it's open to everyone. It's an open kind of forum where everyone can join and everyone can listen to somebody speak about whatever it is. That may be motivational, might be a professional in the field, and it may be a professional political commentator. But that has not been able to happen on many of the campuses if you don't align with the Democrats. So the act of preventing problematic speakers from contributing to the public debate. In 2019, Cambridge drew decision from the advocates of free discourse when they rescinded Dr. Jordan Peterson's invitation to speak on campus. In recent days, there have been widespread calls to reinvite him. So most of you know who Jordan Peterson is. It's not really even fully a conservative necessarily, just an intellectual mind. But the problem is that he just doesn't align with the far left. They've kept Ben Shapiro from speaking and many other conservatives. If you haven't heard of this documentary, it's called No Safe Spaces. I think it's a great characterization of what is actually going on our college campuses. If you're not aware of this, you need to be aware of it. If you have kids or anything else like that, colleges, even though I graduated from college about 6 years ago now, it's not the same as it was when I was there, by far. It has gotten so radical, and they are solely focused on indoctrinating kids in every class, in classes that you wouldn't think even would have anything to do with politics. Most of the professors, most of the institutions, and everything surrounding it are a bunch of radical left-wing Democrats. Most colleges don't even have a conservative professor. Most don't have a centrist professor. And of course, all of that injects itself into every fabric of the higher educational system. So that is clearly a problem. But The fact is that students and people in general are smarter when they hear opinions that are different than their own. It's not about you changing your entire worldview because you heard a good argument for something else. It's just the idea that you even know it exists. The problem with college campuses today is that they're bringing up students and young adults in a bubble. And then when they get into the real world and they realize that, oh, 50% of people don't agree with me, what goes from a tolerance or an understanding or knowing that it even exists turns quickly into just a misunderstanding. They don't know how somebody could believe this. And that is what creates all this hatred towards conservatives, because they don't understand what it is. They don't understand how somebody could possibly not want $1,000 stipend in everyone's wallet every month. They don't understand how that could be possible. They don't understand why generally people or conservatives specifically, are against abortion. They don't understand these arguments because they've gone through their entire lives without ever having to hear an opposing opinion. Who knows? Maybe they heard a good argument. That may not mean that they will change their entire worldview, but they at least know that it exists and they've seen somebody speak about that. That is why we need our universities to follow suit of Cambridge and others that have come out in support of free speech that will allow for students to actually hear opposing opinions. And universities should be hiring professors that don't align necessarily with the far left wing party. Students should be able to have opposing opinions because that is what ultimately makes you smarter. And right now in our society, the sad truth is that the right understands the left a lot more than the left understands the right. Doesn't mean we agree with them, but we know all of their arguments. I mean, I could tell you everything they're going to say in opposition to anything that I would bring up. But most of the time, they can't do the same for us because they just refuse to understand. They didn't actually do the research to get to that point. You just watched a clip from the William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.